What's going on, y'all? It is March 18th. This is the latest episode of Sports and Layers. I just posted the topics in our chat, so let's kick it off. Feel free, Rick or D, to lead. We got Celtics bouncing back, Lakers' recent struggles, Ja Morant's latest, March Madness, NFL free agents. Feel free to go in whichever direction you're most passionate about. And since I hear silence, that freaking buzzer beater loss by the Lakers last night was just wild. Like, we were talking about it before we kicked off, but it's like,
who they lose to?
We lost to the Mavs. And like Kyrie dropped like 38, but he didn't hit the game winner. It was Kleba on a buzzer beater. And I'm just like, I thought it was a wrap. I'm like transitioning from a Jamaican spot to the bar. And I walk up, it's just everybody's looking heartbroken. I'm like, what? What happened?
Right.
And we outplayed them in the fourth, but they just hit the big shot. And it's like,
damn, I didn't even see that.
It just I was chill on the whole sit AD in the back-to-backs. I don't think we have another back-to-back this season. I'm like, you know what, we could ride it out. But like now it looks really bad when you lose the second of a back-to-back. And then you lose a buzzer beater. We lost like 5 games like that this year. That's when it's like, okay, now everything these media pundits are saying is looking right. Because like, why did we really play AD the full stretch of that Pelicans game? We could have easily played him. I don't think we were up 35 at the half. Like, we could have found a way to rest him that game, play him in the second. But
yeah.
What's your record?
I mean,
right now?
34 and 30.
It's 30, yeah, 34, 37.
What seed are you right now? Are you guys still outside looking in?
I don't know. I know we've been kind of locked into that 10 seed. Let me
10.
10. Oh, so we got there. Oh, all right, word.
They're 10 right now. They're half a game behind OKC.
LeBron's about to come back.
Is
he?
Yeah.
I feel like he's. I feel like
they're
he's
trying to hype that up. Like, they're even showing clips of him shooting around and all that, but
I feel like he's waiting to see how good.
I think that Brian Windhorst said that it's more so. I think that people saw 3 weeks and said he's coming back in 3 weeks. No, it's an evaluation in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
see where his foot is at in 3 weeks. I think that's where people misread or misheard as far as in the report. It's 3 weeks, and let's see what it's looking like. And he may be out longer.
Yeah, I think another week to 10 days after that, from what I'm hearing from Shannon Sharp. So it's really looking like 4 weeks. But
the schedule. Let's see. They got
the fourth easiest schedule, but it's like everybody we're facing has something to play for aside from like.
Ain't no such thing at this time of year.
Yeah. Listen, like the schedule strength is skewed because everyone in the West is like just above or below 500, but they're all for positioning.
Everybody sucks, so everybody look like they got that easy schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
They got next 3 is 3 home games: Orlando, Phoenix, OKC. Okay. You gotta go.
KD, like
OKC is a must win.
Yeah.
Orlando, you better beat Orlando.
I mean, OKC's a must win because they're right there in front of you for the 9 seed.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they can't lose that game.
And you're talking about potentially. If you're playing a 9 seed, if you're a 10 seed, you have to.
That's 2 games. That's pretty much like 2 games.
What are you doing?
You lose that game, you're like, that's pretty much like losing 2 games.
Right. Also, I mean, I'm not sure what their season head to head is, but then also if you're going on the road in a play-in game, you're going on the road if you're a 10 seed, and basically, you got to play 2 games if you're a 9 or 10.
Yep.
But I mean, who's 7? Who's like? I don't think we're worried about. I mean, it's one game; anything could happen. But Who's 7 right now? It's
I don't know if you're in a position to be saying you're not worried about anybody whatsoever.
I don't want the Warriors.
I don't.
If
It's March.
it was the
It's
Timberwolves, I'd be
March.
like,
It's March. I don't think that you can
I'll
afford
take
to
the
be
Timberwolves
saying
over the Lakers in the one game.
what?
Yeah, man.
I don't want to go face the Warriors.
If LeBron is playing, then that's a different story. But like if it's just AD and who is it, D'Lo and you know what I mean, against Cat and
is Cat coming back?
Cat's out. Is Cat coming back?
Out? Oh damn!
Man, that injury was worse than what people tried to portray it to be. Man, he's been gone since like November. No watch up.
What's his injury exactly? Like
it was an Achilles.
Oh, it's over. What?
It was like Achilles. Like they tried to say
tear it, but it's
he must that must have been like
to the Achilles is a wrap, dude.
Because like a strain is a minor tear. It must have been something that was close to a tear or something.
Yeah.
He's expected to return in the coming weeks. They didn't give a definitive
rupture or something. I don't know, man. That's.
But that was back on March 13th. He should be back for the playoffs. Like they're trying to have.
They get there, yeah.
I think they'll get in at this. I mean, yeah, they're.
Embiid should have this MVP on lock if he maintains play. Honestly, I don't want to hear nothing more about fucking Joker right now.
I'm glad like the media kind of everyone's getting their act together and all that. Yeah. Let's give it an Embiid. You know what I mean? Joker, let's not make this Joker dude all-timer.
Right. Like we're basically saying he's a top 15 player. Like
Joker, come on, bro.
In stone, if we give him
of
that
all
third.
Time?
Yeah.
Who said that?
If he gets 3 MVPs, man, that's an all-timer.
Yeah, you can't really
that's terrible. That's terrible.
If you got it.
Dave, should we let Utah win?
What, the Celtics?
Yeah.
What?
Just rest our starters. Nah, I'm just
honestly, if y'all would have lost that game last night, up 19 entering the fourth, I would have been like, "Yo, it's."
I think Portland is done. Portland's done.
No, they already have reports that they're talking about resting Dame.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're 31 and 39. They're I think
it was a nice little, like, let's say it was a nice little, like, whatever they had.
Wow. So they
like they had, start the season.
Start resting.
Wow, they were number one for like a little bit.
So speaking of Portland, I don't know if y'all seen Dame came out and he was just talking about, like, I guess the discourse around sports or just basketball is much different than what, the NBA is different than when he came in versus now. And there's a lot of conversation where, like, his loyalty to, let's say, a team, and people try to say, oh, he's, messing up his status as far as a player because he's not going out to win or whatever. How do y'all feel about, like, that kind of conversation about sports or just, basketball in general?
And he was saying, like, he doesn't like the ring culture too, right? Is that right?
I'm confused on what his point was, because, like, I heard on, like, some shows that they're, like, saying he's basically making an excuse for not wanting to win. He just wants to have his money, like, and then they talk about his contract. They always do that. Like, they'll
spin it.
They'll talk about his contract, how much he's making. But I'm like, I don't think that's what he's trying to say, right? Like, so I'm confused on what exactly Dame Little's point that he's trying to make. You know what I'm saying? Because people are trying to use that to say, like, he's like a Carmelo Anthony. Like, I remember, like, back in the day, Carmelo had a chance to, like, be part of that big three with LeBron, but he took the money. You know what I mean? And signed the extra.
It's pretty much whatever. It's pretty much damned if you do, damned if you don't. Honestly.
Right, like, so it's like, I don't know, like, what is Dame trying to say? Like, is Dame trying to say, like, Is he really trying to realistically say I'm gonna win a ring in Portland and that's why I'm here? Like, come on, like, let's be real, Dame. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's some bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? Come on, Dame. Like, if that's his point, like, come on.
Let me let Rick back in. I see it different from Melo in that, like, Melo was clearly going for the bag. He went from the Nuggets to the highest paying bidder up next, the Knicks. And like Dame's been getting a bag, but he's been loyal to Portland. I mean, they have won a championship. I don't know if Rick actually got to watch the full interview. I didn't, but as far as the ring culture is concerned, I mean, he makes a valid point, but like at the end of the day, winning a ring still means you're sacrificing more than other guys, right? So that still means if you're a Dame Lillard, you're cutting your pride because you can't get free to a team in Portland. And you don't got to go join a super team, but maybe I got to take my talents elsewhere if I really want to get this ring. So, I mean, I don't know. What do y'all think?
I think that it's cheap that we sit and we ignore what other guys do as like we just basically say after the 82 game season, forget about what journey it is. I think that we just look at it as far as in, did you win? Who cares about what you accomplished? All of that is like, did you win? If you didn't, I'm not trying to hear about it. That's where, you found yourself in like, a lot of discourse or conversations around the sport, period. Because then you have some guys who leave and then they don't win. Russell Westbrook. And who else you say, D?
Paul George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about, PG stays, maybe he's you're ugly talking about the greatest pacer of all time. And I just look at it where it's just like sometimes like, is it worth it? Because as much as people try to say, oh, look at this player did this, or he could win or whatever, they never talk about the conversation about what if you don't win? And you could have built even more of a legacy in a place that you started. And also you have potential to make more money. But also too, it's like, why is the game just like, I understand that you play to win, but that's just not the whole thing as far as in just like what you're measured up to. Like no one's going to your regular job every day telling you you're not the best at what you do. So why? And just because you're not, you're marginalized or you can't, whatever. And it's like, and if you do it, however you feel about Kevin Durant, like people will still talk about it.
Yeah.
They don't matter. He don't matter.
He did it the cornball way.
I don't care about the way that he did it. I don't care about the way that he did it or whatever the case is, because if Dame, like, it's funny. It's funny the narrative is like this, but the Lakers wanted Dame Lillard to join their team. Would that not have been corny?
I mean,
it's cool.
I mean, but the KD is just like it's hard to look at that. There's been tons of ring chasers before KD, but like to join the 73-9 team that just beat you,
right?
I think
can't get lower than that. But Dame joining the Lakers, sure, that's all right. That's making a super team, but nothing touches.
Can we not have it both ways? Or are we gonna just caveat and we're gonna move the goalpost? Is it gonna be a situation where we ridicule KD for staying in OKC too long because they're not gonna win? They can't get over the hump. He does get over the hump. He joins a new team. And he makes a move for himself as far as making himself a champion, but then you ridicule him for it. So we're gonna have, okay, so you can join a team or you can switch your team, but as long as you don't join this team or that team, basically, is that what it is? Or you have to leave your situation, Dame, leave your situation in Portland, and you have to join another situation like you're in Portland, where or maybe you join another co-star or something, but it's like, okay, you can't, like, it's like, which way we want to have it? We gonna sit there when a player does it? It's gonna be like, oh no, I didn't mean like that. I didn't mean go get your ring like that. So which is it?
Damn.
I mean, those are some real good points. Like, but I just feel like winning is just like held to just like like such a high regard. Like winning is just everything in sports, you know. So it's really like, yo, you can go wherever you want as long as you win. Like, look at LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Went to the Heat.
Facts.
Look, those 2 chips saved him. If he didn't win, those 2 chips are still part of his legacy. Like at the end of the day, nobody says shit about that. You know why? Because he delivered. Like they say, go over the hell you want. Like, dude, if KD, all right, so KD went to the Warriors, it was corny, they won, whatever. If he would have won in New York, like you know what I'm saying? If he would have won in New York, man, like nobody will, that would have been a footnote though. Like no one even, that shit would have probably enhanced his legacy. Like, he won them chips and like, Steph Curry would have never got no chips without, you know what I mean? But he never won in New York. So now it becomes like, you're hella corny for that. Like, so it's really all about winning. Like, if Dame goes to the Lakers and they win, it's only going to enhance his shit. Like, if they don't, I mean, I don't know. That's really all it is. It's just
if he don't, he has potential to be looked down upon, i.e. Russell Westbrook.
Look at Kawhi Leonard. He left, he won.
Why are you being so extreme, Rick?
I don't know, man.
I'm like, not Kawhi's being extreme, bro, because people, because my whole thing knows that a lot of times people look at this and they don't look at the other side of the fence. They look at, it can do this way, or you can look at yourself where, like, I guarantee Russell Westbrook stays with OKC, he's not looked at as the same as he is looked now.
I agree with that. He's not a thought team.
Russell Westbrook went from the Rockets to the Wizards to the Lakers, now to the Clippers. Yeah. How many jerseys is he gonna have?
3 years.
He turned into a journeyman.
Yeah.
That's not really him trying to jump teams and ring chase. That's just him getting traded for being a bad.
What happens to journeymen? They get traded.
No, but we're talking about dudes like KD who are like and LeBron. Who are like actively.
No, we're not talking about dudes like KD, because if you're talking about Russell Westbrook, people have him as their top 5 all-time point guard.
What people?
There are people. I mean, at the end of the day, your opinion is your opinion. But I'm just sitting there saying though that, like, I'm not going to sit here and caveat the conversation where it's just KD and LeBron. No, we're talking about people like Russell Westbrook is a top 75 player. We can't sit here. You have conversations where you're talking about Dame Lillard, and it's just like, okay, he doesn't win. All of a sudden, now he's looked down upon. Because that other side is still there as well. You either win or you lose. So I can't sit here and say, oh, yeah, if he goes to LA and he wins, okay, yeah, he looked differently. But what if he goes to LA and he doesn't win?
Yeah. It's the bounce around effect. Once you go to more than one team chasing a ring, it's not the best look. I'll just throw out this and let me know y'all thoughts on this. I feel like, and it's funny because I've been focusing on international impact. Literally my finals project, sports management, was around like which country should the Lakers do a marketing bid for. My team chose the Philippines, but it's like internationally, everything is about a ring. Who's the biggest star internationally? It's actually like, right now pretty much still is Kobe. He's got the most rings. Like, I spoke with a former alum who was like, dog, we went to a freaking school in Beijing when we were trying to do rollouts for like the Olympics over there that year, I think closer to 2019 or whatever, when they did that. And he's like, bro, people, like, men and women were crying as they saw him walking out the car into the school. And it's like, if you really want that long-term international strong brand impact, you want the ring. Do you get more bonus points and more cookies points for doing it at the home you built? Yes, but it's a legacy thing. I don't know. It's a different feel from our day jobs, and I don't know. What do y'all think about international impact? If y'all thought about it at all?
I think that with international, I feel is that they more so like no, they that's all they care about is winning. That's why they don't even have. I don't even think like their sports really have salary caps because they look at it and say, why are you capping me? I want to. If it's my money, I want to build the best team I want to build. Guess what? They don't call Kevin Durant going to the Warriors corny. They call that it is what that's sports. I got money. What you gonna do about it? Go build your own super team. That's what they do. So I mean, this is all right. This is the reason why I don't want to like pivot away from it. But this is the reason why I also took it. I seen a conversation where someone was talking about Jim Boeheim retired, and you had someone said, "Oh, he only won one chip in 43 years." He's a legendary ass coach, and we're gonna sit here and caveat his career and say, "Okay, he only won one chip in 43 years. Okay, so he's not looked upon that, however whatever lights on him."
But he has hella wins though in his career.
I don't. It's all about rings though, right?
I mean, I feel like one out of 43 is like, damn, really? How did you keep it that long and only get one ring? Is my initial reaction, but he's still
winning championships is hard. I mean,
that's what I think that people have to wrap their. I think that people have to wrap their head around that. Is winning is fucking hard, and I think that like there's only one like I'm not gonna sit here and downgrade Patrick Ewing or Charles Barkley's career because they had to play in an era where they had Michael Jordan at his prime.
Exactly. Like people don't take that into consideration. Like, oh,
yeah,
like,
who are you playing against? Like the best fucking most competitive psychopaths of all time. Like,
and I'm not gonna downgrade the guys in the '80s because they had to go against the Larry Bird Celtics and the Magic Johnson Lakers.
Those were super teams.
I am. Honestly, I am. I'm sorry. Like to me, that chip is still the end all be all. Ain't shit you can say to it. Like but my thing about championships is just like the sacrifice. Like it's hard, but there's some type of sacrifice you got to make that someone else isn't willing to make consistently to win it. And like, I don't know, Barkley, he faced Jordan in the finals. And like, there's that whole story of Jordan kind of moosing him up on the golf course and all that. Like, I don't know. I still hold it against him, but I get what y'all are saying.
No, my whole thing though is that like there's a difference you holding up to it with that just being the end all be all, and you just saying fuck your stats. What's your ring look like?
Mm-hmm.
Because then you're put in a situation where there's conversations where like you have people saying, would you rather be Robert Horry or Tracy McGrady? And it's like, what are we talking about?
Well, let's bring up this man again, Draymond Green, like with his 4 rings, like, oh my God.
See, but I don't know. I think people understand like Robert Horry was just like a nice role player who did make some big shots, to help win a lot of rings. Like, that no one says Robert Horry is the greatest winner of all time. People are going to give that to Jordan because he was ill and he won. Like at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know if I support taking away from the dudes that do win. You know what I mean? Because like
no one's saying taking away. My whole thing knows that don't take away from the guys who don't win. My whole thing knows that everything can be appreciated. And also to those that the body of work as far as in getting into the playoffs can be appreciated more as far as you're talking. Like, why can't you?
Because
why can't you
use that win? That's what comes with winning. It's like that. It's
you
awful.
can celebrate
it's a whole
them,
thing
also
of ranking people. You know what I mean? Somebody has to be the best, and someone has to, there has to be a winner and a loser. You know what I mean? So it's like all these people that won, they're gonna get celebrated. All the people that didn't win. If you're a great player and you're held to a certain standard, it's not like people aren't looking at Jamal Crawford and being like, yo, you didn't win. They're going to look at Dame. They're going to look at Russell. If you think he's that, I don't think Russell's that like high.
But my whole thing knows that you should celebrate the person's career. But my whole thing knows that But my whole thing knows that what the ring culture has done is that you held. Why are you holding them to that standard?
Because
Express
they're
why you holding them. But
like
that's my point. Is that because they're great? Why can't we just talk about them being that great? You can't just hold them to a standard and say, "Oh, he didn't win a ring." So
it's part of the story, though.
No, it's a part of the story. But my whole thing is that it doesn't have to be the story.
It's part of Charles Barkley's
It doesn't have to be the
yes,
but it doesn't have to be the story.
Right.
Look at like here's an example, like a Gary Payton, right? He won a ring. So does that validate his career? Like when you look at Gary Payton, you know, obviously his ring wasn't won in his glory days with the Sonics, but does that now validate him because he like, oh, okay, he got a ring, like
he hopped on the bandwagon.
People will sit like, all right, let's compare a couple of players. Let's compare Gary Payton to Russell Westbrook. Sure, let's do that. They're like, oh, well, Gary Payton won a championship. Like, come on, how does that sound?
Well, when people compare Russell and Gary, no one's gonna bring up Gary's championship because Gary.
Yes, they will.
They will.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will.
I mean, some people, I guess they will. Like for me, I would just talk about Gary when he was the glove and shutting down people. I mean, he wasn't winning then, but like he was the glove.
So why can't that be the conversation?
Russell, regardless, we're gonna talk about him when he was winning triple doubles and MVPs and all that.
But why can't that be the conversation?
With those players.
All right, here's my question. Why can't that be the conversation regardless? And my whole thing knows that it's not about, I'm not talking about having a winner or a loser, because too many times with basketball discourse is we're putting up said player to put down said player. We're putting up said era to put down said era. Where at the end of the day, we're talking about the greats of greats. And at the end of the day, well, my whole thing knows that why can't they be celebrated? And why is when, granted, like if there's a conversation, but there's too many conversations about who's the best this, who's the best that. There's not a conversation about just like celebrating a pure game of, you know, sports. Like you're talking about, like Dame said, like, where's a conversation when you talk about, okay, yo, who had the most 40-point games, 60-point games? You had a 70-point game. Like that conversation that happens, like, oh yeah, he got all those games, but he couldn't deliver for Portland. And it's just like, okay, his whole career just to waste. Like he did nothing because he didn't have a ring. And we can't just celebrate, you know, his career and bask in his achievements. You know, players, you know, across the border, you know, in the NBA now is like, you know, is facing that because of said ring culture and people caveat it to, well, it's all about whether it's winning or losing. And it's like, no, it's still a game of basketball being played. We still watch it every night. There's 82 games a season. We should be able to sit there and look at the 82 games and be like, damn, that's a damn good player. Like, yeah, it's unfortunately he didn't win, but I can't put his career in dust because, oh, he didn't win.
True.
I don't think we should. Yeah, it shouldn't diminish a player's legacy if they don't win necessarily. Like you gotta. There have been great NBA teams that didn't win championships. The King, those Sacramento King teams.
Yeah, those teams are fun.
Cheating ass Kings.
I mean that's the whole nother debate. But,
wait, you said cheating who?
Well, they had the refs. I mean, not the refs, but I mean, the refs were cheating for the Lakers actually against the Kings.
Oh,
but I think it's back to, what's his name? What homie's name was like plugged in with betters. Huh?
Tim Donahue, the referee.
But also the player, the dude, Chris Webber, he was like, he had some betting, like, yeah. So that's
what? Oh, I don't hear about
that. By calling them cheaters. He had ties with
they involved in
those Utah Jazz teams.
Right. There we go.
Yeah.
Those Utah Jazz teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there've been some really great teams. And do we just like, oh, they never won? Like we can acknowledge. I think it's fair to acknowledge these teams, these players. Like And you have, like use the context as where like, hey, you went against great players. You played against LeBron. LeBron beat you, and you didn't win a championship. You played against Kobe. You know,
the 18-1 Patriots changed football because they didn't win the Super Bowl. Is not going to sit here and say, oh, their season went to waste because they didn't cap it off at the end of it.
Wait, that was
kidding me?
Wait, what?
That season I disagree. Bro, that season was a waste, dog.
Bro, it's not a waste because what I just said to you, they changed. Okay, this is what I'm saying to you.
And lose it to
here's my thing. You're not letting. Here's my thing. Is because what I literally just said to you, they changed football. Before 2007, there was no slot receiver. There was no slot guy. You didn't have to worry. You didn't have to worry about like guys wasn't trying to go over the middle, especially wide receivers. And then that position, and now you've created other positions where now you have guys line up all over the field, and then you have guys that have to be slot corners. Now that's a different skill set that you are looking for as far as with a corner. And then also you're implementing college things as far as in like the spread. A bunch of things that they done in an 07 season can't just go to the waste because they didn't win. And that's my issue as far as it with ring culture is because we, like D said, we're not looking at the context of things. Yeah, they lost. And that's a big story as far as with their season, but as far as in the landscape and what they did compared to the years prior to the NFL, they changed the NFL. They changed the NFL and what turns into what is the pass happy. Why TG says I want T Higgins or I want Bill Belichick fired now.
Dell, come on, bro. That season was a waste.
So I mean, Rick makes a good point. Impact is one thing, but you could also argue like the XFL has had impact, even though no one watches it because they're the first to use Skycam and stuff. Impact, I think, is different from like how we view them as a champion. Like if the Patriots would have won that last game, then there's like no argument. It's like, yo, that's the greatest team ever.
Thank you. There was so much on the line.
The change, but like honestly, I haven't heard many people acknowledge that that team's impact on football. Like you just broke it down.
And people won't because they didn't win.
They will. No. Who are you listening to? Because the guys. No. I just think that this is what I asked you, and this is why I wanted to create this platform because is what you're hearing in this ring culture. Is either you win or you lose, and that season was a waste. That was one of the greatest seasons you ever seen. And do not ever say there's stats that you can pull out there that the Pats were like they put up numbers where it was just like it was silly to put it down because they lost one game and it was the biggest game of the season to sit there and say it was a waste. That just like I'll sit there and say I'm a fan of sports. I love to see greatness happen, and greatness happened during that season. I'm not going to say, because they lost and they didn't go undefeated. It was just like, we just going to sit here and say,
and Tom, it
was a waste.
Thank you, TG. I was about to say
Tom Brady. He'll probably say it too.
He would not say that.
What would Tom Brady say?
Tom Brady would have said that. They would have won it. This is what happened. So this is what happened. Tom Brady wins that championship. We don't see Tom Brady until
Tom probably never talks about that season, bro. I agree with you. That was one of the greatest.
Tom Brady called that season a success. That's the question,
bro. That season was one of the greatest seasons. You're right. I agree.
You're changing the conversation, whether Tom Brady's calling it a success or not. Where you're saying that it was a waste and it was not a waste. I guarantee you, Tom Brady said that was more fuel for him. Tom Brady won. If he wins that championship, I don't think Tom Brady's playing till he's 45. I think Tom Brady's like, I'm kind of satisfied where I'm at. He wins that championship. Like I think that he said that. I read that. And as far as in doubt, you're saying that people don't say that. I've listened to podcasts. I've listened to podcasts when they speak on X's and O's and they talk about things like that. And they mention the fact that 07 team has created what is in the NFL now. That footprint is in the NFL now. You're not going to hear those conversations on your undisputed first take type of shows. You're not going to hear that. You're not going to hear that kind of conversation. But that conversation does be had. And that's why I want to create this platform, because my whole thing knows that I want to get away from it just all being about the ring and you simply saying, okay, we had this season and it's like, oh, it's a waste because.
How about this? And that's a good distinction, like a waste versus a successful season. Like if you're one of the top teams, any season that's not championship is going to be viewed as like non-successful, maybe not necessarily a waste. But let's even look at the Celtics, right? Certain teams.
I was going to go there, but go ahead. Right. My bad.
Yeah, the Celtics is supposed to be championship or bust. Like I would argue this season is a waste. Whatever you want to call it, if they don't get out the second round, if they don't make it to the final, like
gotta win the chip.
The pressure is on them, and it's like if they don't win it this year, as hard as it is to win a championship, honestly, it's unreal.
It's not a waste, but it's a bust. It's championship or bust, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
But when you have that pressure, imagine not getting out the second round because you lose to Game 7 in a Philly or something. Which and B could have the best playoff game ever, but like people are gonna look at that season as a wash.
That's what pressure is all about, bro. All the greatest have had to do it, man. All the greatest teams have to go through it. It's called pressure. You know what I mean? This is professional sports. This is what they gotta go through, yo. This is what they get paid for.
And sometimes this is what I'm saying.
And they want the competition. They want
This is the thing that I call when I fight back versus, let's say it's a waste, because many of times where players talk about their failures, they say what fuels them. That season that you said was a waste, it's what fueled them. So how is it a waste if it's fueling you? It's not a waste. It's not a waste.
It's a bust.
It reminded you, however you want to sit there and call it. But I'm just saying though, is that to sit there and minuscule and throw it in the trash.
You gotta throw that shit away, bro.
You can't throw it away. You can't throw it away because it's not.
After going undefeated, losing the championship, I'm burying that shit.
Go ahead and watch. You can't.
Hell yeah. That's what Brady did.
You
and
can't.
He won that
he did it. He did it.
But here's my thing.
Brady kept losing chips.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Lost 4 chips.
So look
he didn't.
We talking about fueling players, right? If the Celtics go out, and I don't know why maybe it's because I'm.
Yeah, I don't know why it is. It's like it's like you're getting your rocks off or something to continue to talk about the Celtics.
But here's my thing. When we talk about waste, right? Okay. Or when we talk about fueling a player, if the Celtics lose this year, weren't they supposed to be fueled from losing last year? If they don't make it out the second round, like you can't keep losing. If you keep losing, it's just like.
But okay, here's the thing. What do you mean though? Okay, what do you mean though? LeBron went to the finals in 07. He lost in the second round in 08. Was number 1 seed back-to-back seasons, lost in the conference finals and lost in the Eastern Conference. I mean, the second round. And then he goes back to the finals and loses again. You look at that, let's say, 5-year run. Was that not fuel for him to sit there and run back-to-backs with the Heat?
I think that was fuel for him to get out of town to go win.
But I'm just saying, no. But he ended up losing. He won. He
ended up winning. So, like, my thing is, if the
so the story isn't written yet, Dale. The story isn't written yet.
Mm-hmm.
The story hasn't been written. We can't sit here and act like we're not. Tatum isn't.
Tatum's 25?
He just turned 25. Let's not act like he's 38 now. We can't sit here and look 13 years in the future and say, oh, well, they didn't win this time and he never won. So what happened to said fuel?
That's the pressure we put on great teams and players. You know what I mean? It's unrealistic, to your point.
But here's my thing. To TG's point. Tom Brady said it. I don't know if you want to watch that 8-part documentary that he has on ESPN Plus. And he said it plenty of times. If they would have won the Super Bowl in 2007, he's not sure he would have still been playing 10 years later.
Damn.
He doesn't think that he would have been playing.
Yeah.
That Super Bowl put a chip on even more of a chip on his shoulder to continue to play.
Damn.
So that's my point as far as I don't know about waste or whatever. I think that's where and that's where I had a conversation with Charles Barkley said, "Oh, you Pats fans have it good," because we were just at a moment where D used to always say, "Wake me up in January," because that's when we play our divisional game.
Right.
So I would kill whether we won the Super Bowl or not. The way the Pats are now, give me that. If you tell me we're gonna lose in the AFC Championship, I'm fine. I'd rather that than 8-9, 7-9, 10-7, and going into the playoffs getting your doors kicked in. Like all those years that they didn't win, there was a stretch of they went to 8 AFC championships in a row, and there was some games they didn't win. There was some games they went to the Super Bowl and lost. But I want to call those a waste. We was witnessing greatness. I'm not going to sit here and look at the Pats and say, "Oh, we had 20 years, and 14 of those was wasted ass years because they only won 6."
Only.
That's just me. Like I look at it when your team starts to look, you start to appreciate the greatness that you had before, and you're saying, "Damn, I mean, I didn't like how I felt after the loss, but shit, I would like to be." I loved witnessing greatness every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
You like the offseason moves the Pats have made so far, like getting Juju, some of the free agency moves? I didn't get. I don't like Juju. I was like, what does that really do? What's next? But I don't know. What did you think about some of the free agents?
I think that Juju is a move that, I personally think that it's kind of an upgrade over Jacoby, but you still are in the same spot where you were like in the season. You still need a guy. You still need a number one.
Oh, and they got James Robinson. Oh shit.
Yeah, I mean,
but
the Jets had him inactive 6 of the last 7 games, so and they traded him because Breece Hall got hurt.
I seen that James Robinson is 24 years of age. I didn't realize he was that young. So he's still a young running back. I mean, maybe he did have at least one 1,200-yard season or something. So maybe they can.
Yeah, the Achilles injury. I don't know.
Why does that keep coming up?
It matters.
It's just funny how many times we keep talking about Achilles injuries.
Didn't that dude Cam Akers have that too? And like he was supposed to be an ill running back, has never.
And look at him now.
No, that's true. Damn.
I like
so
that.
So we're signing scrubs. Like, what are we doing?
I think he's going to be a good fit.
So I like. So here's. Yeah, I like Gesicki, but I still think that he's not your traditional tight end. He's not a blocker. So I would look at their moves. They haven't. I mean, the free agency class, what it is, it wasn't great. There wasn't any stars. There wasn't no guys that you said, "Yo, we need him." But when you look at their moves they made, I think that a lot of times they'll be paying the middle class rather than just saying he be paying like a bunch of just guys. Like he just be paying special team guys. And that's where I'm just like,
what did you think about not re-signing Jacoby? Do you think that was just like why not just have Jacoby and Juju like together?
Well, I think I think that you're getting the same skill set if you're having both. I don't think that that's a move I would want them to do. Because now you have guys who are going to be competing for the same spot essentially because they're basically the big slot. So I don't think that is a situation where you need to have both players I think that it was one or the other, and I think that they, I think they wanted Jacoby, but I feel it's like they looked at the price as far as in what he's going to be paid, and I mean Juju has a more of a team friendly contract than Jacoby, so I think the Pats they always looking for ways to be cheap, so they found a player that they can say, oh yeah, he has the same skill set, he's about the same player, and we can get him for cheaper.
I see that.
Yeah, so I mean, I honestly look at it. It's not over. You have talks of like Odell Beckham, but I'm not sure about Odell. Like, he's over 30. Same with DeAndre Hopkins.
Hop is actually 30 on the dot. I thought he was older.
Well, he'll be 31 this year.
Yeah.
So he'll be 31, and it all depends on what the asking price is. I think the Pats are kind of waiting for the price to go down, and the price will always continue to go down as it gets closer to draft. And you seen Jalen Ramsey get traded for a 3rd-round pick.
Yo, Miami, dog. Watch out for Miami. I mean,
so
3rd-round pick, that was it?
Yeah, exactly. A 3rd-round pick and a backup tight end.
Don't we need a corner? Why wouldn't we get in on that?
I don't know. It begs it. See, but that's what I'm saying. It begs the question.
Jalen Ramsey, he's not that old too, right? Is he 30?
No. And that's what begs the question, TG, as far as, and when I say they sign in the middle class, you're signing a bunch of average players or below average players to $2-3 million. When if you can add that money up, you can go ahead and say, you know what, I'll just go get Jalen Ramsey. Let me go get difference makers.
What?
Yeah.
That's the other thing about the AFC East. Like, I feel like those other teams are so, like, after 20 years of just being ran through, like, they're doing whatever.
Yeah. They're going at it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, didn't the Dolphins trade mad picks to get Tyreek, right? Something like that?
Yeah. Yo, they've traded for Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb, and Jalen Ramsey in all in calendar season.
Bro, if they get Tom Brady, dog, oh my God. I know there's been rumblings.
I think that Tom Brady is out of the picture. I don't think that's happening.
I want to see Brady give us 1 or 2 more.
With the Jets, though, with the Jets getting possibly Aaron Rodgers.
Right. What?
That's about to be wild. What's going on with that? Like, is that deal done or what, man? Like,
I mean, I know they got Lazard. He said they got to get Mercedes Lewis, Lazard, and Randall Cobb. I know they signed.
Yeah. So they got Lazard. They got the coach, right?
Yep, they got Hackett, the offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So,
got a ransom.
Yeah. So no, but the conversation he had him a ransom. But the conversation is that he's saying that, hey, I agreed. I'm good. Like I agreed to be traded. It's more so on the Packers. Not they want picks, 1st-round picks. And I'm not trading the 1st round. I'm not trading that. I'm not trading all that for a 40-year-old.
That's crazy. This man is 40. But he's probably got at least 3 more seasons out. Like, now there's the Brady effect. Now I feel like now the greats are gonna try to keep chugging along until it's like 45.
And and that's what fans are gonna think that their QB can do. And it's just like that still was one of one. Like, not all the greats is gonna be able to do that.
Yeah.
Right. It's like Drew Brees would have showed himself at was he even 40? Was he 39?
Nah, he was 40.
They used to take him out the game, have somebody else come in and throw the deep ball. Like, give me a break. You know what I'm saying? Give me a break with a Hall of Famer.
Right.
And Drew Brees, you saw how Peyton Manning looked.
Oh,
I mean, he won, in this last season, but
they won in spite of him.
The defense.
They carried his ass to the Super Bowl.
He got carried.
touchdowns his last year. It was like 9 and
See,
9.
and there goes another thing as far as in with this ring culture. We gonna talk about sometimes with if Peyton Manning doesn't get carried.
I
But
mean,
we don't
he
talk
needed
about
that
that.
last ring. Honestly, like he low key needed that last ring because
Yeah, he needed it.
he-
But when you start
For
to
his
put the
legacy.
conversation around the last ring,
That was like a
he
Gary
got
Payton.
that was
Bruh,
That was
this
Gary
man was
Payton.
out here. Yeah, bro, that's what I'm saying. That was like Gary Payton. It was like he was being carried by it. He had a
That would apply
all-time
if
great.
Gary had won a ring like on his own prior to that other ring, because Peyton did win. He did have one ring though with the Colts. You know what I mean? So
No,
that other ring just kind of.
Yeah, I'm just saying that ring in particular. I'm not comparing either their like greatness
I
and
guess
obviously Peyton Manning.
I feel you.
Yeah,
No, I feel you.
but
he
yeah,
was 9 touchdowns,
I
17 last year. That's ugly.
9 touchdowns, 17 picks.
Wait, he had what?
9 touchdowns. I mean, he only played 9. He started 9 games, played in 10, but yeah, 9.
Oh, they benched him, right? For
I think he
Oswald?
was hurt. It was a lot.
Nah.
Yeah,
He
you're right.
got hurt or something.
Yeah, I don't
Wait,
think.
yeah, bro, you know what? No, TG, that narrative sounds a lot better. They try to say he got hurt, but he low key got benched.
9 and 17, bro.
That's crazy.
I mean, the year before he had 39 touchdowns, 15 picks, and then the year before that it was like his best season ever, 55.
That's literally falling off the cliff.
That was the cliff that
That's
Max
that
thought
Max
he was.
Like,
He was
bro, Max Kellerman. Oh my gosh.
Yo,
Max
but
just
what's crazy
predicted
though
to
is
the
that
wrong dude.
But what's crazy is if you watch Peyton at the end of his career, the cliff started. The cliff would start in the playoffs. Then all of a sudden, that second year, you said he had like 30-something touchdowns. If you look at his after like week 10 or something, his numbers he didn't look like the same player. And then that last season, it just started at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it was,
like every year, the cliff started. It started early and earlier than that last year. And we just like, and that's why he was like, "Oh, I'm done," because he won another season. Oh, he would have been cooked. I mean, he was already cooked.
Nah, he was already cooked.
But,
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, I'm very fascinated with team building. I mean, it's very interesting as far as in how the Rams are now, where I guess like that championship, like you said, F the picks. Now they're talking about, they may want to trade Stafford now.
which is wild.
It's the model of
They're breaking
like,
it down to the studs.
So was that sustainable is that something that you would do as a GM with the Rams model? Would you copy that model, understanding that they could have easily lost that Super Bowl?
Right.
It's not guaranteed a Super Bowl.
Tom Brady that year.
Yeah. So the question is that would you do that? Would you copy that model and say, go after these players? Forget these first round draft picks and mortgage your future while you're trading 2 first round, because they traded 2 first round for Ramsey. They traded 2 first round for Stafford.
Damn.
Wow.
So
they were giving up those picks like it's fucking.
Yeah, and the Panthers saved them from themselves because they were going to trade 2 more first for Brian Burns, and the Panthers said no.
For who?
So for Brian Burns, the
DM, right?
The year from the Panthers.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah, so they saved them from themselves. Where you sit there and you look at it and you say, is that model, is that something that you should go after, or you should just, I don't know. I feel like that's one of one. Maybe you can have a mix of it, but I don't think that you should go full throttle like the Rams did, because they're reaping this is the consequences of that now.
And the Lions are going to be great for years to come. Like I love watching the Lions play now, and they still have like those picks from the Stafford trade.
Right.
All right. It's Detroit. Let's
Bro, you saying
It's
this?
like
They're gonna make the
it's
playoffs
still
next year.
Detroit, so I
They're
think that
building.
Bro, they got playmakers now. Their offense is firing.
They're building. They'll be all right next year.
And then they got like additional first round picks from the Rams, which means probably a top 5 pick. Like,
They're set
I
up
mean,
better than a lot
once
of
upon a time they had Matt Stafford and Calvin Johnson. Yeah, nah.
I guess you gotta see him do it. Too.
For sure. And don't fuck this ball cornflakes. That's all I'll say.
They're better, set up better than other teams. Should we touch on?
I would also say like it's just like
What's that?
Well, the other topics were just Ja Morant and March Madness. Let me know if y'all want to dive into either one of those.
With transfers, basketball, I mean, I feel like with transfers, basketball is coming much more, competitive.
UCLA, we taking it. UCLA, baby. Get your UCLA hats on, y'all.
UCLA.
Run.
Oh, the tournament's actually on right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm. No, but with
Florida is playing
the way I
San
look at
Diego
it,
State.
No, put it down.
Yeah, the way I look at it now, like with transfers and all that, I think that what's going to happen is the same thing what you're seeing is you're going to see upsets. And we're going to live in a world where like 16 seed versus the 1 seed is not going to always be a gimme.
And it keeps it's happening
happened, right? The 16 last night. Purdue, yep.
Yeah.
And wasn't Purdue ranked?
No, I know, but I'm saying was that like no, it was
at some point during the regular season.
That's
crazy. Yeah. That's crazy.
And Princeton, a 15 seed, beat Arizona, number 2. So
damn. Wow, this shit's crazy. Upsets.
Yeah, so but I'm saying like it's gonna routinely happen more where you're gonna be like, is that like an upset where just like I feel like basketball, especially college, with the one and done. I mean, one and done happened for is
that's good though. Right.
But I feel like I think with NIL now, there's hopefully will be less one and done. You were breaking up, Rick. What'd you say? I'm hoping with
you were talking about the NIL.
Oh, I was saying like I'm hoping with NIL now that players can get paid. Hopefully that like deters them away from so many one and done. And that can make the landscape competitive for longer stretches. Like you could see dominant teams again for 3-4 years. But I mean, yeah, the one and done culture like that combined with players being the transfer portal, just it makes it.
I mean, and also guard play.
Yeah.
What'd you say about guard play?
I said guard play. I think that guard play isn't as like the Dukes or UNCs of the world or like Kansas. Like the guard play, their guard play, when you start to look at it, isn't that much different when you start to look at the mid majors.
Yeah.
And those guys are staying in school 3-4 years.
And thoughts on Ja Morant? Any thoughts on Ja Morant? The updates, the suspension, like the fake suspension. How y'all feel about Ja?
He's coming back soon, right?
I feel like, did he really like? How do you go to rehab for like
10 days?
What's he rehabbing? What you know what I mean? What's he rehabbing? What was his?
What's he rehabbing? Like, yeah, like I don't know.
What was his diagnosis? Like,
he
was stressed out or something?
It was like
Simmons-itis.
If you send whoever you send that's having issues to rehab and they're out of there in 10 days or something, you're looking at them like
they're going
did
back.
You really get help? Yeah. Did you really get that help? Like I think it was more so for I look at all this like at the end of the day, all he needed was to talk to like all this. Oh, I'm dealing with this. I'm dealing with that. I'm gonna go to rehab. No, he just needed to get his fucking act straight. He needs to stop acting like a jackass. I think that's all it was. Like them sending him to rehab, him talking about, oh, he got this and that issues. He's gonna step away to clear his mind. I mean, I'm not sitting there like at the end of the day, though, that you can paint a picture, you could be a different person, inside. But I just think that was more so for publicity, as far as in like not to take away from the image that was being portrayed. It's like, okay, like whatever, throw mental health out there. When in doubt, throw mental health out there. People can't question it.
Hey, that's what it feels like. It's so cheap. Like, what?
When in doubt, go to
Now you got mental health.
All reliable.
Like, what?
That's crazy.
I never understood the tie to mental health, because it's like you have this history of events. Now you showing the gun. I mean, I don't know if y'all saw the picture at the strip club with the thousands of dollars around on the floor. And I'm like, I feel like what's getting lost in all this is the perspective of the regular human being, like, or even the conservative human being, where it's like, even if that's the culture of the NBA that happens every other weekend, that's a wild ass scene to be seen. And nobody's saying it. Like, bro, there's literally every inch of the room is covered with dollars, and it's like completely unnecessary. There's not like a single patch of floor or a seat area that's not covered with money. I'm like, bro, I'm sorry, that's stupid as fuck to be just.
So like the argument, right?
It makes 24-year-old Rondell, 23-year-old, 22-year-old Rondell got a $200 million contract.
Right.
I mean, I'm gonna go spend some at the strip club, but I don't know.
Don't tell me. This is the problem that I have with older people. This is the problem I have with older people. Don't speak on lenses. I get that, but I'm just saying, though, is that like I can't look at him and saying, whether you was doing it at the strip club, you'd have been doing something that you right now are like, damn, I spent money on that.
I mean,
I think they say he spent 50 racks at that strip club, though.
My thing is just the visual. Like, why do that knowing, like, there's a potential for this to come out every week? Like, obviously, there's some kind of campaign against him, but I don't know. I just think the visual is wild.
I think that the owner or whoever leaked the photos, that's whack, and that players should not go to that strip club ever again.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy. That was
like, if I'm going anywhere, my shit got to be mad exclusive. Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I'm spending 50 racks in that place. Come on, bro.
You can have that shit at the crib, honestly.
Right. Like, they got to take care of him better than that. That was fucked up. Like,
And then now, like, you hear the reports of, the team is gonna fly. Is that like real? Or are they gonna fly back?
That was
after
crazy.
games.
What's the report?
Like,
what? After every game?
Yeah, like they're gonna fly back right after. Like, they're not gonna stay in said city or whatever.
Can't trust them.
And it's just like, and
how's the veterans on the team feel about that?
What veterans?
Nobody's over 30. I mean,
yeah, that's a good point, I guess.
Dylan Brooks is your vet. Dylan Brooks is your vet, and he's over here pushing Kierman.
I mean, Bane punching Kevin Love in the nuts, like, that was pretty.
Like, I don't know.
Too. I don't want him punching me anywhere, let alone the nuts. Like, damn.
Brooks?
Or was it? No, it was Bane punch Kevin Love in the nuts. You didn't see that?
Nah, I didn't hear that.
He got a technical flagrant foul too, ejected from the game for that.
Damn, that dude's mad brolic. I don't want him punching me like that. Fuck that.
Right.
Kevin Love of all people, though. I was
right.
On the Bulls, like, something had to be said, but I don't know.
But yeah, man. Yeah, Ja, I don't know. Hopefully he learned for his lesson. That's all I can think. Like, hopefully, he like
before the playoffs start. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
But like, what lesson is he learning? Like, Don't go to
Just-
strip clubs and
just don't be
flash money and don't show
stupid.
guns.
Don't be fucking stupid.
I mean,
Grow up.
I mean,
Feel you.
I think that I hope the lessons being learned is because I think that he won't be on an all NBA team. So you're talking about potential money that's going to be
40.
taken away from him.
40 million or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
contract wise, damn.
That'll make you act right.
I mean, he
But I
lost
would-
like 600 to 700K and missed games.
That'll make you act right. True.
All right.
yeah, you take away that money, and you can just look at reality and saying, "Yo, this can be all taken away from you."
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's more of the conversation that he should be looking at and saying, "Damn, maybe I should straighten up." And and you can still have fun. Yo, the strip club shit, there's no problems. Just don't be out here flaunting guns around, or don't be hanging around people that put you in compromising situations and like all that. The thing with the Pacers, like the lasers and this or like and also keep your parents in check. Like at the end of the day, like
Keep
your mom shouldn't be calling you.
Your parents in check. That's funny.
Your mom shouldn't be calling you.
Like, why does
telling
she
you to
not?
come
Why does she
because-
not have security or like?
Yeah.
Like he has to handle that shit. Like, nigga,
Yeah.
like, bro, you're a millionaire, bro. Like, you
He
can
has
have.
a lot to he has
can
so
hire
much
people.
to lose.
He's
Yeah.
like, oh, I gotta make. No, you don't, nigga. You just send somebody to do that. Like like you're the
You're the prize, man.
Right.
You know.
Well, it's funny. I feel like I don't disagree with having goons watch over the moms, though.
You say you don't?
I don't. Yeah, I feel like that's where you can. I mean, maybe I'm just being cheap. Like, you could shave the budget a little, like, but maybe I'm just wilding. Like, it's at this point now you have no choice but to get legitimate security. I feel like
if you claim, and that's his excuse. I don't know if that's true or not, but there's you don't have to handle shit yourself. You know, like
At the end of the day, he's the person in power.
Though, man. Memphis ain't.
He's the person in power. They eat off of him. Whatever he say goes. So if he say, nah, we're not on that. Oh, if you still on that, I guess you can't chill around Ja no more. And the dude that's gonna chill around Ja, if he's not on that, then guess what? You ain't gonna be if he's giving money out or he's giving you phony jobs that you're whatever the case is, like then that be it. But if you still on that, then bye. But that's what I'm saying. He has power. And I think that he should understand the power that he has. But also the people around him, especially family members, they have to understand that as well. Like, don't be calling him to handle a dispute that you have with a mall employee or whatever the case is. Don't be trying to have him crashed out, especially when he's being young, like at his age, like he's still maturing. So don't be putting him. You're already mature. You should be already mature enough where you say, I'm not going to put my kid in this situation or whatever the case is, because you wouldn't want your kid being a 5-star recruit and you call him to come handle something and he crash out. Now all of a sudden his scholarship opportunities are gone because of you.
They even put him in that position.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. He probably should evaluate who's in his circle,
Right.
His father is a clown, is probably even more of a clown than he is. Because
his dad is like his boy. Like, come on, man. Like,
yeah,
hard. Like, I feel like it's tough to be hard on the dad because it's like we don't know what their actual relationship is. I just thought it was foul for people to be that's your son, that ain't your friend. Like, we don't know what bro, clearly grew him up in a disciplined environment for him to get to where he's at. Clearly he did something right. So, like, to just be throwing him under the bus, why? Because
I feel like that
like Usher.
At the same time, I feel like Ja's behavior is a reflection of his father. So I feel like it's fair. I think it's fair game.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's at all his games. Like he's literally everywhere you see Ja, you see his father. Like it'd be one thing if like, oh, his father wasn't in his life, but I don't know. That's my outlook on it. I feel like he's.
That's
He's a
that's a
very
good
special
point.
kid.
Like if his
I
dad
mean,
wasn't so visible, like people wouldn't call him out. They're like, "Yo, you're obviously in
If
his
you look
life,
at hella
chilling with
smooth
him."
though, I'd be like, yo, his dad looks like he's 35, bro.
but
Bro, you
but
old.
his
Shit, but yeah.
I mean, I think that maybe it's a situation where his dad would. I mean, I don't know their situation, but like I mean, I've heard stories. I heard him on podcasts, and his father gave up his career so he could focus on job and his sister. And I look at them and I'm saying maybe this is a rebellious stage as far as in with job. I mean, because you hear a lot of times with a lot of athletes there's no parties. There's nothing like that going on as far as in, especially if you want to get to this level. There's none of that. There's no, oh, we're gonna like, the psycho players are gonna be up at 6 a.m. in high school and they're gonna be practicing their skill set. And I don't know if this is a situation where Josh's father had pushed him so to this point, and Josh still had to keep getting out the money because he went to Murray State. It's not like he went to Duke or something. So
Right.
he was still working, to get to this point. And maybe now it's like I finally reached the mountaintop, and now he's he's immature still. He got money, and now he doesn't know how to act. And then you throw in he's in Memphis.
Mhm.
Maybe it's a little rebellious stage that he is going through because he didn't get to experience certain things maybe as a teenager and stuff like that as well.
That's a fair assessment or outlook. I never considered that. So yeah, I mean, yeah. End of the day, he's 24. Was he 24, right?
Is he 23 or 24?
He's 23, turning 24. I think he turned, I think in the summer or something, his birthday, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing stupid shit when I was 25, 26. So I can't. It's hard. I know we clown him and say like X, Y, Z, but at the end of the day, he's a kid. So I think that's why I say, all right, hopefully this was like kind of like woke him up or whatever. Like just seeing how easily things could be like taken away from you. But if we continue to see this, then
it's a different conversation.
Exactly. Like, so that's where I'm kind of at with it.
And the funny thing about it, he's young, right? But for the lifestyle he's portraying, he would be considered old. Like somebody living to 25 in Chicago is considered a full life. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, it's like,
That's
bro,
crazy.
I like how DJ Academics like covered it. Like, bro, you old enough to know better, bro. Like, what are you really doing? So like, I'm not the biggest fan of going light on him and wishing him the best. Like, bro, you did some stupid ass shit. Get your shit together, bro. Like,
Yeah.
All right, I'll say this. Though, to combat that. When you're talking about kids from Chicago, you're talking about them being on their own. Some people being on at 13 years old.
Right.
So, but y'all wasn't that. Y'all wasn't that.
Stop trying to
No, but that's what I'm saying, though, is that's why I said that he's having, let's say, a rebellious era or whatever the case is, or he's, sitting there doing things, trying to find himself, whatever the case is. Is it a bad timing as far as in doing that? Is he whatever? Of course. But to compare, let's say, to kids that, been, doing things since they were 11, 12 years old. And now when you look at 14, you're like, oh, they done, matured in life, maybe more than 40-year-olds at 25. It's different from Ja, who's had both parents in his life and, been there since he, day one. So I think that's a bit different as far as in comparing. Yes, you can be hard on him. Sure, you can be hard on him. People are giving you millions of dollars. You should act accordingly. But that's what happens that's why people make these kind of decisions, and that's why some people don't, because $1 million are at stake. Should I draft this player at 3? He got trouble history. I don't know. How's he gonna act when he get money? That's why some players fall in the draft.
A la Aaron Hernandez.
Cool.
I mean,
Right.
yeah, like I like Aaron Hernandez. I mean, look at the dude from Georgia, the defensive tackle, best prospect, one of the best prospects of the past 5 years. He was in a car crash. He was speeding when
Racing.
yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
And he lied to the cops.
I'll take him on the Pats. That's the crazy part. I know. Dude,
he can play, nigga. Oh, crazy.
But like, it is gonna impact his draft stock for sure. That's damn.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. Is that,
Don't we got the 14th pick, right, in this year's draft?
Yeah.
How far will he fall? He might not be a top 10 pick, right?
I mean, if he fell past 10, I'm making phone calls.
Right, yo? Think about it. I think you gotta trade up, yo. Shit, go get him. I'm sorry.
But here's the thing when you start to look at it, because look at Memphis. You have a young team. You have Taylor Jenkins is their coach. He's a young head coach. So everything about them is young, and that's why things are the way that they are. When I look at Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle in Georgia, when you put him, a team like the Patriots can afford to take him. Can a team like the Lions afford to take him?
Why are you?
That's where you start,
bro. The Lions are.
I'm talking about as far as them being their ascending team, but they're young, bro. Can they afford to take him as far as in him
leadership and all that type of thing?
Exactly. We talk about the Grizzlies, who's their leaders, and that's what I'm saying. Those that if you look at the Patriots, I'm not to go over Pats fan, but any young team, even the Eagles, they can afford to take. They got the 10th pick. They can afford to take him because they have the leadership in that building. They have someone who can keep him on a straight and narrow and show him, who can say, "Yo, I'm successful at what I do. Do what I do." That's what I'm more so putting at. That's where teams who can say, "Oh yeah, he falls in my lap. Oh, he has a trouble history, but we can work with him." Where the younger teams may shy away because he gonna be the same player. He may be the best player on your team. Who gonna tell him no? You can't do that. That's kind of as far as the team building, that's what the aspect you gotta look at too. So
that's right. I think TG dropped. I'm at a good stopping point unless y'all had other topics y'all wanted to.
Nah, I'm actually good. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. I think we had a good discussion.
All right, y'all. That's another episode of Sports Players. Catch y'all next week. Peace.
Yep.